All right, so let's start on our backs today. And I'm gonna give you the option here. I think it might be nice to start in a supported bridge pose. That being said, it's early, so it might feel like too intense of a stretch. If you're gonna go there, I suggest just doing either the lowest level on the block or the middle level. So don't go too high. In fact, probably a little less is gonna be more here. And we might try to visit this again at the end of class and just see how it feels different. So the other option, if your lower back is tender and it can be this early, would be to take your feet wide as the mat, just allow your knees to knock in towards each other. So just find a place that feels fairly comfortable. There's gonna be a little stretch, but it shouldn't be so intense that you're focused on that. And then just start to find your breath. Maybe take a couple of deep inhales through the nose. And then open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. And so just kind of triggering in your brain this idea that it's yoga time, it's time to check in, start to notice physical sensations happening in your body. It's time to breathe a little deeper, a little steadier. And to get a little quieter, and that might be the hardest part. So the brain loves to be on, to judge, to think. And certainly we want some of that, but we want it really specific to what we're doing on our mat. So you're probably starting to find your ujjayi breath, that inhale through the nose and that exhale through the nose. You're creating that soft rush of air in the back of your throat. Use that sound to help focus your attention. And just use the breath moving through your body to create a sense of ease. Maybe even a sense of weight starting out here. So you start to feel those shoulder blades pressing down underneath you. As that begins to happen, you feel a little more stretch across the pectorals, so the chest area. You feel a little more lift of your sternum up towards the ceiling, particularly on the inhale. Those hip plates underneath you start to get heavy in the mat. And you're feeling your feet in whatever configuration they're in, also pressing down. As you do that, notice if you start to grip your toes at all, maybe spread them and then gently release down. So there is both a sense of effort and ease. And then just a couple moments here, nice and quiet, soaking this up. Anytime you notice that you've lost that thread of your breath, just bring your attention back there. And then you can just keep your eyes closed here. So if you're on your block, just go ahead and press into your feet and lift it out from underneath you. If feet are wide, just walk them so they're hips distance apart. So we're landing with our ankles underneath our knees, and then you can bring your arms closer to your side, palms facing in. And then we're just gonna start to move into our bridge pose with the breath here. So just warming up the spine, warming up the legs a little bit. As you inhale, press evenly into your feet, direct your tailbone forward. Lift hips up. It might be the tiniest amount starting out. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Feel some of the weight transfer back into your shoulders. Exhale, lower from the top of your spine down to the bottom of your spine. Continue like this. Just moving with the breath, maybe even trying to stretch the length of the inhale and the length of the exhale out a little bit this morning. Paying attention to the sensations that you're getting. So this might be a little intense, but also observe as you continue to move like this. In pretty short order, it gets a little easier. The hardest part is always starting. Make sure that you're not rolling to the outer edges of the feet or gripping the toes. Think Tadasana feet. Then finally here, let's add the arms into the mix. So as you inhale, arms reach up overhead. So again, palms facing towards each other. Maybe your thumbs gently touch the floor behind you. Inhale, lower everything down. Inhale, roll up. So feel that lengthening through the sides of your waist, your torso. Exhale, lower. A few more like this. Inhaling up. Exhale, lower. 2 more, moving with your breath, just at your pace. So after that second round, just taking a couple breaths here like this. Noticing how you feel. So hopefully you're feeling a little longer in your spine. We're going to take our right ankle now. We're going to cross it above the left knee. So just coming into a little reclining pigeon, just a gentle, easy little hip stretch here. So you can take your right hand into that right thigh, gently press forward. You might not need to do that. So again, our yoga practice feels really different when we're doing it early in the morning. It takes a little longer to find the space and sense of ease in the body. So do less, even if this doesn't look like your best pose ever. If you're absolutely getting no sensation and you feel like you can go a little further, maybe you start to bend your left knee in, interlace fingers around your thigh, and then gently press that left thigh closer in towards your chest, any amount. You go to the place that feels good for you. Keep trying to breathe space into that lower right waist so that hip is drawing forward. And that looks a little different for all of us. One more deep inhale. Exhale, go ahead and release that right side. So come back to that bridge pose. And then take your left ankle above your right knee, flex your left foot to protect that knee joint. Maybe take your left hand into your left thigh, gently press forward. And right away, pay attention to how this side feels different. So especially hips. One side usually is noticeably tighter. If this is that side, you do less. Maybe even back out a little bit. This is a great place to stay. If you feel like you need a little more sensation in your body, start to bend your right knee into your chest, and then reach your hand through that triangle you've made, interlace fingers around the thigh, and gently pull in, maybe wedging that right elbow. I'm sorry, that left elbow into your left thigh to draw that leg forward. Find that thread of your Ujjayi breath if you've lost it. Good. One more deep inhale. And then exhale, release, uncross that left ankle. Good. And then just take your arms out wide in a T shape. Hug your knees into your chest. So hug without using your arms, of course. So just squeezing them in, and we're going to find a nice little twist here. So as you exhale, drop your knees off to the left. And then maybe start to gaze out over that right finger or your right fingertips. Try to let that right shoulder blade get heavy in the mat. If it's lifting up and it feels like you could use a blanket underneath there, that's always a good little adjustment. And then just see if you can really let this lower right rib start to melt to the floor any amount. That's probably going to be more of a thought. Just finding a little release here. Inhale, knees up to center. And then as you exhale, you drop them off to the right. Observing how this side feels different. Trying to root down into that left shoulder blade. You might be looking out over those fingertips if it feels okay in your neck. Otherwise, gaze can just be straight up at the ceiling. Good, and then just start to roll onto that right cheek. Bring your left palm on top of your right palm. And then you can press down into that left hand to come on up. And let's come into our tabletop position. So setting up for our cat-cow. So landing with your shoulders over your wrists, fingers spreading, pressing evenly, knees under hips. So you're getting enough space here that you can really start to arch into the back. And we've already done a little of this, but it's going to feel different in this variation. Inhale, arch into the lumbar. Feel the chest come forward through the gates of your shoulders. As you exhale, you press them out away a lot. Let the back of your neck release down. And then just continuing like this at a pace that feels really good in your body. So we start to find this idea of vinyasa, connecting specific movements with the breath. Has this nice calming quality as it starts to gently open up the spine. Beautiful work. Again, you're paying attention, especially to the spine and to the neck. Where is there sensation? Can you send a little more breath to those places just to help release, help to find space? Good. On your next inhale, come back to neutral spine. You're neither arching nor rounding. Pull your belly in and up, that lower belly, so you're getting that core containment. Hold on to all of that and start to squeeze your outer hips in towards each other. So you're going to feel the glutes engage a little bit. Keep gaze an inch or two in front of your fingertips so the neck is nice and long. Really try to lift from the inseam of the right leg, so that inner thigh, as you lift up, keep the outer hip squeezing in. So we're not trying to open that hip. Both hip bones are facing down. Deep inhale. Exhale. Come into the cat stretch, but curl your right knee into your nose. So let the back of the neck lengthen. Inhale, stretch back out. Hips stay even. Engage that upper left thigh. Exhale, round in a few more. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, lengthen out. 2, Exhale, curl in. Exhale, stretch out 1. Exhale, curl in. Hold here for a couple of breaths. Does tension creep in around your face and jaw? Soften there. Keep the breath moving. See if you can get in a little tighter, maybe just a millimeter more. You're feeling a little burn in the belly. Inhale, stretch that right leg out. And then exhale, release back to your tabletop. Few rounds of your cat-cow, just releasing that, kind of cleansing the palate before we go to our left side. Good, do one more round and then come back to your neutral spine. All right, so engaging the lower belly and then feeling those outer hips squeeze in towards each other. Start to turn on that inner left thigh as you inhale. That leg is really active. Hips are nice and even. Exhale, curl in, knee to nose, come into the cat stretch. Inhale, see how long you can get. Feel the shoulder blades release down. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl in 3. Inhale, stretch out. Exhale, curl in 2. Good, inhale, find that length, that space. Exhale, curl in 1. Hold here, press the mat away. Let the back of the neck go so you're rounding in the thoracic spine. See if you can bring your left heel closer to your left buttocks. And then inhale, stretch that leg back. Release it down. A few rounds of your cat-cow, moving with your breath. Alrighty, how is this pose? Starting to shift. We're not doing anything too rigorous here, but you might be feeling a little heat in your body, so that's a good thing. Good, inhale back to neutral. Walk your hands forward a couple of inches. So we're gonna kind of do a little modified chaturanga, not even really a chaturanga. We're just gonna kind of come down to, actually let's do this from our child's pose. So we're gonna come back to our child's pose. So arms reaching forward, stretch them forward a lot. As you inhale, come on up. And then as you exhale, lead with your heart. So you bend your elbows, but you keep your booty high. Then you flatten out, and here we are in our cobra pose. All right, and we're gonna take a couple of breaths here, rolling to the outer edges of your feet. So again, those inner thighs are engaging, and you can even think outer hips squeezing in a little bit here. Deep bend in your elbows, but they are squeezing in towards the midline. That helps you to get the lift and stretch across your heart and chest. As we exhale, we lower down. And then let's inhale, press all the way back to our child's pose. Take an exhale here. Inhale, come on up. Same thing, so lead with your heart, your chin, they touch down, and then you lengthen out into your low cobra. Let's move this into vinyasa. Exhale, lower. Inhale up. Good, exhale, lower down. Couple more, inhale up. Exhale, lower. This time, inhale. Make your way back to your child's pose. Exhale here. Take a full inhale. And one more exhale. And then let's just do that again. So as we inhale, rock on up, and then exhale. Lead with your heart. Then lengthen out on the inhale. Coming into Bhujangasana, low cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhaling up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale up. Good. As you exhale, you lower. This time we inhale up, press to knees, Curl toes under as you exhale. Pull back into your first downward facing dog of the day for sure. Hopefully not of the week. And then find any movement that feels good here. So we all kind of have the little habitual things that we like to do to find some space in our body. Sometimes too, it just feels really nice to come into a place of stillness. So that's always a good place to go as well. Do check to see that your feet are about hips distance apart, second and third toe point forward. So it's almost like you're hiding your heels behind your toes. Little bend in the knees is always nice starting out. That will actually help you to find more length in your spine as you stretch the sit bones up towards the ceiling. Good, and then just peek forward between your hands a little bit. Make sure that they're about shoulders distance apart. If you tend to be tighter in the shoulders, you could always turn your hands out a little. So we don't want to overdo that. And then release the head back down. So find that length so your ears line up with your biceps. And maybe see if you can start to squeeze your forearms in towards each other. That bicep, that inner arm is going to start to wrap towards your tricep, your outer arm. You feel a little widening across the backs of your shoulders. Good, couple more breaths here. And then nice and easy, just start to walk your hands forward. I'm sorry, your feet forward to meet your hands. I'm all dyslexic this morning. Take a nice little forward fold here. Grab opposite elbows. Let the neck really release down. And this first Uttanasana of the day, I always find it to be incredibly intense. So a nice, generous bend in your knees is going to take a little effort out of the hamstrings, the lower back, the glutes. Start to sway side to side. And then just check in with your neck again. So almost just out of sheer habit, because it's what we do all day long. The muscles in the neck engage and kind of hold it up a little bit. Let it go. And then change the cross of your arms. Nod, yes. And then nod, no. And then go ahead and just release your fingertips down to the mat. Keep that nice, generous bend in your knees. And then slowly start to roll on up. So stacking vertebrae on top of each other. Coming into your nice Tadasana mountain pose. Let's get into the shoulders a little bit. So let's take our right arm in front. Hold on with your hand. You can hook with your elbow. So you're just applying a little pressure so you can squeeze that right arm in towards your chest any amount. Shoulder likes to creep up around the ears, so release both shoulders down. And even in this pose here, you can find a little of that feeling of inner belly pulling in and up. Outer hip squeezing in. Legs are active. And you can find that by just making sure that you're pressing into the four corners of the feet. So there's this sense of the arches lifting. Even if you have flat feet, you can kind of imagine that. Good. As you exhale, release, and then take that left arm across, hooking with elbow, holding with hand. So they're both good. This side might be a little different. Releasing shoulder blades down your back, releasing your tailbone down towards the floor. So we can start to overarch here in our lower back, kind of puff the ribs forward. Find all of that core work, belly pulling in. Outer hip squeezing in, tailbone releasing down so that you can stay in this nice tall mountain pose. Good, deep inhale. Exhale, release. Just moving into some half sun salute. So releasing your arms by your side. Palms kind of gently spinning out. So this openness across your heart and chest. And then, so let's do it a little different today. Let's inhale, stretch our arms forward. As you exhale, bring palms to prayer, fold in. Inhale, hands on shins or thighs or fingertips on floor. Chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Exhale, fold in. And then inhale, reach your arms forward. Make sure all the weight doesn't go into your heels. Stretch up as you exhale, hands come together at your heart. And then release your hands down by your side, and let's go a little different with the sun salute. So inhaling, arms reach out and up. So it's gonna feel a little different in your shoulders. As you exhale, you swan dive in. So you take your arms out nice and wide. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Exhale, release in. And then inhale, take your arms out nice and wide again. Exhale, arms come out wide, and then palms come together at your heart. Let's go back to the first way. So inhale, stretch forward and up. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, lengthen forward. Good, exhale, fold. Reaching arms forward, and then coming on up. Exhale, palms press, they come to heart center. Good, so just release your hands by your side. We have two more. So you can mix and match like that, or just pick the one that feels better in your body. So just moving with your breath, maybe closing your eyes here. Just finding this sense of flow, this sense of rhythm, which always feels really amazing. Beautiful work. Just pausing in your mountain pose, palms together at your heart, eyes closed, checking in, noticing how you're feeling. Maybe the heart is beating faster, feeling a little more heat in your body. The breath may have sped up. The brain might be waking up a little bit too. That's always a good thing. All right, so blink your eyes open, release your hands by your side. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. So bend your knees. You're gonna step your left foot way back, and you're gonna lower onto that left knee. You can pat it up if you need to. As you exhale, start to melt this left hip in. Fingertips could be on blocks. And then inhale, nice and easy. Rock back so you're half splits. You can keep a deep bend in that right knee. Exhale in. Inhaling back. Good, exhale, rock forward. Inhale, stretch back. Couple more. So just a little vinyasa here, getting into that left hip flexor, the right hamstring, and it's intense. All right, so we're gonna come forward here, bring your hands to that front thigh. So again, just releasing your tailbone down, feel the outer hip squeeze in. You're pressing a little bit to the inner edge of that right foot. If you feel unsteady here, it's definitely a balance pose. Walk your right foot off to the right a little more. Inhale, arms reach up. Maybe bring your gaze up, press palms. And then as you exhale, you're gonna plant your palms, curl your left toes under. Good, so fire up that leg, it's in plank pose. And then step your right leg back, your right leg back to meet it. And we're taking a few breaths here in our plank pose. Use your legs more than you think you can. Feel the outer hip squeeze in. Good, as you exhale, come to your knees, and then we're gonna snake down, so lead with your heart. And then inhale into your Bhujangasana. As you exhale, press up, curl toes under, downward facing dog. As you inhale, your left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. Walk it off to the left so you're not on a tightrope. All right, and then find the blocks if you need. So exhale, melt this right hip down. Inhale any amount, and you can have the blocks back a little further. Exhale, hip flexor stretch. Inhale into your hamstring stretch, and you don't need to go very deep at all. So we're just kind of warming this up. We're warming up the hip joint. Good, let's do one more here. And then start to upright yourself. Feel outer hips, squeeze in. If you're on a tightrope, walk that left foot over even more. Inhale, arms reach up. Maybe gaze up. And then as you exhale, you're gonna release down. So plant your palms, curl your right toes under, step back, downward facing dog. Take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, slowly start to walk your hands back to meet your feet. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press down into your feet, stretch arms up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhaling, reaching. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. And then slowly start to walk your hands forward into your downward facing dog. Take an inhale here. And then as you inhale, shift forward into your plank pose. Exhale, knees come down, lead with your heart, elbows squeeze in. And then inhale into your Bhujangasana. Exhale to tabletop, curl toes under, downward facing dog. As you inhale, your left leg lifts. Exhale, use your belly to step that foot through, lower onto that right knee again. Upright yourself. Inhale, arms stretch up. Good, and then you're gonna take your right fingertips to your left wrist. Go the other way. Left fingertips to right wrist, deep inhale. As you exhale, lean to the left. Inhale up to center. Exhale to the left, it's a tiny little movement. Inhale up, can you really squeeze that left hip in? Exhale, lean to the left, nice work. Inhale up, release, gaze up. As you exhale, hands come to the mat. Curl your right toes under, and then step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. As you exhale, step that foot through. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. Good, as we inhale, we rise up, right fingertips to left wrist. Deep inhale, find lots of length. Exhale, nice and easy. This definitely challenges the balance. Inhale up. Good, exhale, lean to the right. Inhaling up. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhale up here. Maybe gaze up. As you exhale, hands come to the mat. Curl those left toes under. We're gonna step our left foot to meet our right foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest lengthens. Good, as you exhale, you fold in. Inhale, press into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So let's just throw an Utkatasana into the mix here. So feet about hips distance apart, just peek down, make sure second toe, third toe pointing forward. Feel outer hip squeeze in, tailbone releasing down. Ooh, the clothes are coming off. We're warming everybody up. This is good. All right, here we go. As you inhale, knees bend, arms reach up. Utkatasana. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. So bend your knees a little bit. Reach that left leg far back. And then this time we're gonna keep those toes curled under. Reach your left leg back. So right leg is at the top of the mat. I said that wrong. All right, so as we inhale, arms reach up, full crescent pose. Outer hip squeeze in. You can have a little bend in the back knee, especially if hip flexors are tight. Exhale, take arms out wide. Take a nice deep inhale here. And then exhale, we twist to the right. Inhale to center. This doesn't have to be a deep twist at all. Exhale, twisting to the right. Inhale to center. Nice. As you exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Stretch arms up overhead. As we exhale, hands come to the mat. Step to your plank pose, a few breaths here. So lengthening back through your heels, stretching forward through your sternum. Fingers spreading, pressing evenly, gaze slightly ahead of your fingertips. One more deep inhale. As you exhale, come to knees, lead with your heart. And then flatten out, inhale into your Bhujangasana. As you exhale, curl toes under, downward facing dog. As you inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. Give yourself enough space, walk that foot to the left. Fire up that back leg. Maybe you keep a little bend. Inhale, rise up, full crescent. Outer hips are squeezing in a lot. Good. As you exhale, take arms out wide. Take a nice deep inhale. Find space through the sides of your waist. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, back to center. Good. Don't lose the legs here. Keep a deep bend in the front knee. Exhaling to the left. Inhale, back to center. One more. Exhale, twisting to the left. Inhale to center, arms up overhead. Beautiful. As you exhale, hands come to the mat. Just step back to your downward facing dog. Take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, start to walk your hands back to meet your feet. Inhale, chest extends forward. As you exhale, you fold in. Inhale, press into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhaling, knees bend, arms reach up, Utkatasana. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Nice and slow. Lead with your left hand this time. Start to walk out into your downward facing dog. Notice how this dog is feeling different. And then as you inhale, shift forward into your plank pose. Fire up the legs a lot. Exhale to knees. Lead with heart. And then lengthen out into your Bhujangasana on your inhale. Exhale to tabletop. Curl toes under, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. One breath this time. Inhale, rise up into your crescent pose. Maybe press palms overhead, gaze up. Feel that lift of your sternum up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, hands come to the mat. Step back, downward dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. Good, outer hip squeeze in. Inhale, rise up, crescent. Beautiful. Maybe gaze up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step your left foot to meet your right foot. at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, knees bend, arms reach up, Utkatasana, chair pose. We don't want to skip these. You'll have a bad day if you skip the Utkatasanas. Inhale, press legs to straight. Hands come together at your heart. Close your eyes. Take some nice deep breaths here. It might feel good to exhale the breath out through your mouth, especially if you're feeling a lot of heat and you need to cool down a little bit. And then blink your eyes open, just release your hands by your side. So let's come into our triangle pose, our trikonasana, and then just play with shifting that into our ardha chandrasana. So this is a really great place to have a block. And you're gonna step wide on your mat. So the edges of the feet are gonna be parallel with the edges of your mat. That block is gonna go behind your right ankle. We're not gonna hold these really long, but we're nice and warm, so this should feel pretty good. From deep within this right hip socket, turn that leg out to 90 degrees. Left toes turn in. So this is similar to the setup that we have for our Warrior Two, except for that we're gonna keep our legs straight this time. So I really want you to press to the inner edge of your right foot and then seal into the back edge of this left foot. As you press to the inner edge of your right foot, you feel this big hip opening. So inner right thigh wraps towards outer left thigh, but then you want to release this left hip down. So the tendency sometimes is to try to square the hips as we do in our crescent pose. We don't want that here, so they're on a different plane. So bring your torso to face towards the long edge of your mat. Inhale, arms reach up. Good, and then just imagine that somebody's pulling on that left wrist so much that that hip pops off to the left, but then you really start to lengthen through this right side. Reaching, reaching, reaching. When you can't get any longer, you can bring your hand to your thigh, to your shin, or block is great here. Higher is nicer, because it helps you to find this equal lengthening of both sides of your waist, and then maybe even to wrap those right hips or right ribs up towards the ceiling. You want your shoulder blades to stack on top of each other here. Sometimes that top arm leans back a little bit, especially if you're a little flexy in the shoulders. These look good. Your gaze can be down. Sometimes that feels best on the neck. You could be simply looking forward. You might even start to look up towards those left fingertips. What's going on with your breath? If it's gotten a little ragged, key into that ujjayi again. And then also notice if there's any tension around your face or jaw. So this can be a really intense pose. All right, so we're gonna turn triangle pose on its side. So I want you to keep all of this opening that you've got in the upper body. Keep pressing to the inner edge of that right foot. Simply bring your gaze down, and then we're gonna take our left hand to our left hip. So keep pressing that left shoulder back. So looking down at that right foot, bend the knee a lot, walk your block forward about a foot. You're gonna step this back foot in, and then keep a nice generous bend in this right knee as you lift from the inseam of this left leg. So your toes are gonna be pointing towards the towards the front edge of the long mat. That was just horrible what I said. Toes pointing forward basically. So you're flexing that foot. It's like you're gonna stand on it. You could just stay here like this if you would like to extend that top arm up and then maybe start to straighten that right leg. A little micro bend is nice if you're hyper flexible. And then we're gonna see if we can transition nice and gracefully back to our triangle pose. And sometimes it's not so graceful. That's okay, that's how we get good at this. This is how we train the muscles. So maybe you laugh a little bit. Exhale, look down at your right toes. Inhale, press into your feet. Rise on up, good work. So second side, we know where we're going. Edges of the feet parallel with the edges of the mat. You can just take that block behind your left ankle. From deep within this left hip socket, turn that leg out to 90 degrees. Right toes turn in. We are heel to arch. Left heel is intersecting the center of the right arch. This right hip is releasing down As we press to the inner edge of that left foot and firm the muscles, we get that nice hip opening. Square your torso to the long edge of the mat. Inhale, arms reach. As you exhale, start to shift the hips to the right, but find all of this gorgeous length through the left side. Keep reaching, reaching, reaching when you can't get any further. Hand to thigh, shin, or block. Shoulder blades start to stack on top of each other here. Gaze can be down. It could be forward. You might look up. So you're finding the spot that feels best for your neck. Making sure that you're not leaning that top arm back too much. Tanya, lift your head a little. Yeah. Good, and then you're wrapping those left ribs up towards the ceiling. There's a little twist in this pose. So feel all of this openness of those left ribs spinning up towards the ceiling. Keep that, but as you exhale, look down at your left toes. Bring your right hand to your hip, but keep opening up that shoulder as much as you can, beautiful. Start to bend that left knee a lot. Walk your block forward about a foot. And then you're gonna step your right foot in, about 6 to 8 inches. Keep a deep bend in your left knee, lift from the inseam of that right leg, gorgeous. Oh, these are really nice. So your toes are pointing forward, you're flexing that foot. It's like you're gonna stand on a wall behind you. Keep trying to find that feeling of left ribs rolling up, and then maybe extend that top arm. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. We have tipped triangle, trikonasana on its side. And then moving nice and slow, as gracefully as you just transitioned into this, can you transition out? Ooh, those were good. So find your triangle pose. And then go ahead, you can just keep your block where it's at. Inhale, press into your feet, come on up. Beautiful. Let's take a nice little forward fold here. So maybe walk your feet in a little closer together. Outer edges of the feet parallel with the outer edges of the mat. And I'm gonna give you a couple options here. So if you wanna get into the shoulders, just interlacing fingers. If that's not happening, you could hold onto a strap and then fold in. You could also just bring hands to hips and fold in, and then take middle and index finger, hook the big toes. So Prasarita C. If you're doing that version, you'll inhale, extend forward. And then as you exhale, start to pull up on the toes. So use that to help release your head down towards the mat a little more. Forward folds, nice cooling poses, kind of allow the breath to slow down. These are a form of inversion too. This is like doing a headstand or a handstand. Kind of shift the perspective on everything. I've heard it said that coming into inversions changes the blood flow in the body. That's not true. The blood is always pumping in one direction. But it's a thing that yoga teachers like to say. All right, so as you inhale, so if you're interlacing fingers at the small of your back, just press into your feet, lead with your heart, come on up. If you've got your big toes, inhale, chest extends forward. Hands come to hips, elbows squeeze in. And then inhale, press into your feet, rise on up. Beautiful. And we're gonna come into another hip stretch. So let's find our Sukhasana. Sitting up on a blanket can be really nice here. So it just helps you to get a little release. Have a block, actually have both blocks handy just in case. We're gonna take our right shin in front of our left shin. So you kind of wanna cross in the center. It feels like your knees are coming out from your hips. It's okay if they're a little bit wider, especially if you're tight. Good, and then if you are more flexible, you are welcome to stack your shins on top of each other. If you do that and this right knee lifts up a little bit, just come back to your simple Sukhasana. So root down into your sit bones, and you can have your blocks forward here. Arms stretch up. And then as you exhale, keep lots of length. Keep anchoring into your sit bones. Start to fold in. So if you're a little tighter, you might be sitting pretty upright. Having these blocks here is nice. It just brings the floor a little higher, a little closer. If you're a little more open, maybe you're using the block as a little prop underneath your forehead. And you have all of the different heights. So we did a little hip stretch at the beginning of class. Of course, triangle pose is a nice hip opener. This seated double pigeon is a little more intense than that reclining pigeon that we did. We're also a lot warmer. So kind of remember back to the beginning of class, how did your hips feel? And then what's going on here? And of course, these stretches can be really uncomfortable. It's hard to sit in poses, especially when there is intense stretching. So that might mean that you need to back out a little bit. Don't work so hard. And sometimes the sensation is just uncomfortable. It's not necessarily too much, but it's not fun. We start to get tension in the face and the jaw. So just soften there and then use your breath. Key into that breath again. Maybe count the breath. So you're giving your brain a little something to chew on that doesn't have to do with, oh God, when are my hips ever gonna open up? It will happen. Be okay with where you're at. And let's find a little twist here in this pose. So if you're on blocks, you can just start to walk them off to the right. You're just walking your hands off to the right and then roll those left ribs towards that right thigh. Still pressing evenly into sit bones. Good. Come back to center here. Extend legs, just give them a little bounce out. And we take the second side. So crossing left shin in front of right shin. You can stack if that feels okay in your body. Do make sure that you flex that top foot, even the bottom foot a little bit if you want to. All right, so anchoring down into your sit bones. That's your base. That's keeping you rooted. And with that rooted feeling, we can find lots of length as we inhale. Exhale, start to hinge forward, fold in any amount. So fingertips, walk hands forward. Blocks can be really nice, especially if you're a little tighter. You're not cheating. Progress is happening. Sometimes it's really, really slow, but when we keep showing up, when we keep working, these subtle changes start to take place in our body. Listening to that sound of your breath, counting your breath. And then just finding that twist. So walking hands off to the left, wrapping these right ribs down towards that left thigh. And then coming back to center. Rolling on up. Extend the legs, give them a shake out. And we have made it to our Shavasana. We earned it today. So whatever you need here to feel comfortable, A blanket or blocks underneath knees can be nice just for a little release of the lumbar. Otherwise, if you feel comfortable just coming into your classic Shavasana, you can do that. Finally, if you don't have props available, just take your feet wide as the mat, allow your knees to knock in. So you might have started class that way. One nice deep inhale here together. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, ha. And then take rest here. Feel this sense of weightedness, but also this sense of ease in your body. Take a deeper inhale. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. And start to bring some gentle movement back to your body. Maybe stretch out. And then just gently roll to one side or the other, finding the fetal position. Pausing there a moment. Good, and finally using your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. And checking in, noticing how you feel differently than when you started. Hopefully you're feeling a little more spacious, sitting a little taller with a greater sense of ease. Let's notice how steady and rich your breath is. And then as a result of body and breath working together, perhaps there is a sense of calm in your head, this sense of focus, perhaps even a little sense of joy. Let's promise yourself that you're gonna carry this feeling you've created with you into the rest of the weekend ahead. If you lose it, maybe you'll just stop and take a few moments to breathe and check in. Bring your palms together at your heart. And just bow your head with love and gratitude. Beautiful work today. Thank you. Namaste.